Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is the second video that I'm doing in a series called Find Your Style. If you're not too sure what it's about, please have a look at the introduction, which is on my main page of this channel. So in the first video, I just basically did simple circles with the watercolor paint, and then used a pen to do the doodling when it came to all the decorations and the details within that circle, that flower. This video is going to be a little bit different to the first one in that I'm going to paint individual petals within the flower. The petals themselves will still have some of the color variations to help give it the design of the actual flower, and then I will still do what I normally do, which is take pen to get the extra details. So what I'm doing here is basically doing 3 little teardrop shapes, as you can see, scattered around in a half moon, and then I will be putting down dabs of different colors to help give it the contrast in each petal. As per my explanation in the introduction video, I'm using the same color scheme throughout. So these are the same colors that I used in the first video, and you'll notice that they'll be the same colors that I use in the next couple of videos that I'm going to do. When you paint your flowers, you don't have to do 3 petals. I like the 3 petals, but you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you love doing. You can do 4, 5, perhaps even 6. Obviously, the amount of petals you have will completely change the end appearance of the flowers. But again, this is about finding what makes your heart sing and makes what you love. So give them all a try, and whenever you find something that you really truly enjoy, stick with that. You will notice that I'm leaving sections blank so that the white page shines through. That helps to give it some detail, but you'll also notice that I'm using a darker color at the tips and at the ends of each petal. Now I do this when the petal's still wet, not too wet but not too dry as well. And what happens when you dab just a little bit of quite intense pigment loading, when you tap it onto that white section, it kind of disperses and you get this lovely bloom. Now I'm using really cheap watercolor paper in these, purely because it's just an experiment and I don't want to be wasting my more expensive paper just on little doodads. So that being said, I still have to be a little bit more mindful about the bleeding and the blooms when I'm dabbing on the additional color, because in this cheap paper it doesn't always flow and bloom the way it would on a better quality paper. So that's one thing that you need to be mindful of as well. This next part is really fun. It's generally my favorite part of painting, and that's because everything starts coming together. So I'm deliberately not going along the actual borders of each petal. I'm going off center so that I can get more of those white details, and I go around 3 times around each petal. And I also am quite deliberate in making sure that none of the lines match up. You're wanting to have this detail, so having lines that are off center and don't match up give you all of this interesting visual experience, and it kind of makes all that color pop a little bit more as well. Next, I use quite a fine pen, and I'm going to be doing, what do you call them? Kind of the dips that you get in the creases that you get in a petal. So very lightly, you don't have to do too much. I normally just do 2 or 3, and here I'm only just doing 2, just little fine lines down the middle to give extra detail. Whilst I'm busy working on the details of these flowers, I've added a couple sprays. So think of this as either like a little spray of baby's breath that you might see, like if you get beautiful bouquet of flowers, or think of this as something that naturally forms part of plant that it might have come from, whether that be a bush or a tree, or just a little shrub in the ground. The sprays can be pretty much anything you want them to be. They could be twirls, or basically anything that your heart desires. But I've chosen these really simple sprays with little dots, and that's kind of just where I'm going to leave it, because that's what I personally like. But play around and find what it is that you really love, because in the end that's what this is about, finding what you love. Now I draw the little bases of each flower, the part that connects the flower to the stem. I really need to do some research and find out what that word is, because I'm terrible when it comes to that. Anyway, so I've got one that's basically on its side, which is this one, and the rest are almost upright, but you can see that I still have some coming from the left and some coming from the right, because that's the type of, when I'm doing my paintings, that's the way I like it, to not just be basically one side up and down. Finally, I do my stems. So these ones are not going to be as thick as the previous ones. They're just going to be simple, dainty, little stems with beautiful little flowers on the end of it. And yeah, I still do my little crisscross technique, because just that's what that's the thing that I love. But you can do any type of stem that floats your boat. So yeah, practice and see what you love. And that's it for these flowers. I'm done with this one for now. My next series will be concentrating on leaves, as you would have heard in the previous videos. But for now, these beautiful little flowers are done. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found some value in this video. Bye for now.